ॐ
वक्रतुण्ड
वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय
महाकाय सूर्यकोटि
सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ
समप्रभ
निर्विघ्नं
निर्विघ्नं
कुरु मे
कुरु मे
देव
देव
सर्वकार्येषु
सर्वकार्येषु
सर्वदा
सर्वदा
सरस्वति
सरस्वती
नमस्तुभ्यं
नमस्तुभ्यं
वरदे
वरदे
कामरूपिणी
कामिनि
विद्यारम्भं
विद्यारम्भं
करिष्यामि
करिष्यामि
सिद्धिर्भवतु मे
भवतु
सदा
मे सदा
गुरुर्ब्रह्मा
गुरुर्ब्रह्मा
गुरुर्विष्णुः
गुरुर्विष्णुः
गुरुर्देवो
गुरुर्देवो
महेश्वरः
महेश्वरः
गुरुः
गुरुः
साक्षात् परं
साक्षात् परं
ब्रह्म
ब्रह्म
तस्मै
तस्मै
श्रीगुरवे नमः अपारकरुणा सिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं
चन्द्रशेखर गुरु
प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम् यत्कृपालेशमात्रेण पुमान् पूर्णः प्रजायते
प्रजायते
तं वन्दे ब्रह्मविद्धुर्यं
विद्रुयं
सद्गुरुं
सद्गुरुं
चन्द्रशेखरम्
चन्द्रशेखरम्
ॐ सहना
सहना
भवतु
भवतु सहनौ
सहनो
भुनक्तु
भुनक्तु सह
सह
वीर्यं
वीर्यं करवावहै
करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा
मा विद्विषावहै
विद्विषावहै
ॐ
ॐ
शान्तः
शान्ति
शान्तः
शान्ति
शान्तिः
शान्तिः
ॐ श्रीपरमात्मने नमः
ॐ श्रीपरमात्मने नमः।
अथ षष्ठोऽध्यायः
अथ षष्ठोऽध्यायः।
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्लोक number 24 and 25. We read together these two shlokas. सङ्कल्पप्रभवान् कामान् त्यक्त्वा सर्वान् शेषतः
सङ्कल्पप्रभवान् कामान् त्यक्त्वा सर्वानशेषतः
मनसैवेन्द्रियग्रामं विनियम्य समन्ततः
मनसेवेन्द्रियग्रामं विनियम्य समन्ततः
शनैः शनैरुपरमेत् बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया
शनैः शनैरुपरमेत् बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीयथ
गृहीतया
बुद्ध्या
आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत्
आत्मसंस्थं मना कृत्वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत्।
That is the line we are discussing. Atmasamstam manakritva. Atmani. Atmasamstam manaha. Atmasamstam kritva. Making the mind remain in the self, abide in the self. How? Which we discussed. What Atma is. Mind is also Atma. Mind is Atma. Everything is being Atma. Mind is also Atma. That is how to place the Atma and Atma. So everything being Atma. So the Dhyata, Dhyeya, and Dhyan. So therefore, everything is Atma. Therefore, the last line we saw, appreciation of the fact that all the three things are involved in any knowledge and even in any act, in knowledge and any action also, meditation also, dhyata, dhyanam, dhyayam. Similarly, jnata, jnanam, jnayam. Jnata is Atma. What about jnayam, drishyam? That is also Atma. And the knowledge that is not separate from Atma. Therefore, knowing this, understanding this fact, that is what is meant by Atma Samstam Manakritva. So how it is done? Atma Samstam Manakritva, this appreciation. Then the next heading continues, gives more explanation, redirecting the mind to the very basis of thoughts. Thoughts which occur in the mind are Atma. Everything is Atma. The thoughts are illumined by Chaitanya, consciousness. So thought is Atma, but Atma is not a thought. Atma is not just, it's not one thought. Everything is being Atma. Therefore, Vritti also, Atma, mind is Atma, mind is nothing but Vritti, Vritti is Atma. Vritti means the knower of the thought, and the thought and the knowledge. Everything is illuminated by Chaitanya. They cannot exist apart from Atma. So knowing that, knowing that they are not separate from Atma. That is Atma Samstha Manakarutva. So therefore, redirecting the mind to the very basis of thoughts. This appreciation enables me to see the mind, whereas previously the mind was always engaged in thinking about this and that. Anatma, Anatma Vishaya. The mind will think about a variety of things, but now my attention is not upon what I see. It is because I turn it away from the thoughts themselves and direct to the very basis of thoughts. Meaning, a thought occurs, and the basis of the thought is Atma. Because of Chaitanya, the thoughts are illuminated. So that is directing to the very basis of thought. This turning the attention from the object to the Chaitanya, which is not a thought. That is called dhyana. This turning the attention is what is called dhyanam, contemplation. You turn your attention from the object of thought, whatever it may be, to the basis of thought. What is the basis of thought? Basis of thought means the thought exists because of Chaitanya. Thought is consciousness. Thought is not, you cannot say consciousness is not. Consciousness continues. It is. But thoughts are come to awareness by Chaitanya. Therefore, the basis of thought is Atma, Chaitanyam. Whereas the object of thought, that can be anything. That can be any anatma vastu. Anything can be anything. For example, a tree. The object of thought to be a tree. The tree, and therefore that is tree consciousness. Tree thought, the tree thought, tree vritti is illuminated by Chaitanya, therefore tree consciousness. So consciousness is as though conditioned by a upadhi, the vritti upadhi. Upadhi in the form of the vritti thought, therefore tree consciousness. Tree goes away. Another thought comes, pot. So pot consciousness. Now the consciousness is conditioned by the pot vritti, pot upadhi. Pot goes away, another thought, another object comes. So they come and go, but all these have the basis in Atma. This is what Atma Samstha Manakrutta, redirecting the mind to the very basis of thought. Redirecting the mind to the basis of thought, from the object of thought, from the tree thought to the basis of the tree thought, that is tree, that is consciousness. Tree consciousness to consciousness, spot consciousness, consciousness. Minus, they cannot exist. The thoughts cannot exist. So therefore, the object of a tree thought, a tree vritti, vriksha vritti, is there in Antakarnam. That is a tree. And what is the basis of thought? Consciousness. So therefore, tree consciousness, the person is aware of the tree consciousness. Therefore, the tree thought, can it be separate from consciousness? Tree is not separate from consciousness. And the knower of the tree thought also not separate. So the object is not separate from consciousness, and the knower also is not separate from consciousness. And the tree thought also not separate from consciousness. So all there is nothing but consciousness alone. Tree also not separate from consciousness because tree is the isness. Sat, Sat and Chit, they're not different. Therefore, tree also consciousness, Chaitanya, existence, consciousness. So therefore, everything is nothing but consciousness, Atma alone. This very appreciation is also, it's a thought. Jnanam also is a thought. And what does this thought do? This Jnanam, Atma Jnanam also in the form of a vritti, thought only. And what does this thought do? It destroys simply the Ajnanam. Ignorance is destroyed. Ajnana vritti is destroyed by Jnana vritti. Therefore, Jnanam is only in the form of vritti Jnanam. that the three are separate, and then it resolves. Destroy the ignorance that the three are separate, and then it resolves. By not thinking of anything else, but the oneness of all the three, that is the resolution, it resolves. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Nakinchidapi chintayet, not thinking of anything else. May one not think of anything else. Nakinchidapi chintayet. In fact, there is nothing else because everything is Atma. Whatever you think, it is Atma alone. So, Nakinchidapi chintayet. Since Dhyanam is involved, therefore, may one not think of any other thing. So, let the focus be on the Atma. It is the idea because it is. That is the thing that kinchidapi chintayet. Any other could be an obstacle. Therefore, na kinchidapi chintayet. The Bhagavan gives the upadesha, na kinchidapi chintayet. Then, the point being made here is, of course, is not to move away from the appreciation of Atma as not separate from everything else. Because if you think of anything else, the appreciation will go. That is right. That's why everything being Atma. Then why Bhagavan says, na kinchidapi chintayet? Because this awareness may go, this appreciation will go. Therefore, na kinchidapi chintayet. One can also appreciate that a certain thought, certain object is a tree, and that he or she, someone who is looking at the tree, is a druk and the tree is drishya, which is true. But then the tree, the thought of the tree, and the Atma, one who looks at the tree, the known, the knower, and the knowledge, all are one and the same. Therefore, turning one's attention to from the object of thought to the basis of thought is what is called the appreciation or the contemplation. That is what Nididhyasanam is all about. Nididhyasanam is turning the attention from the dhyata, dhyanam, dhyaya to knowing the basis of dhyata, dhyanam, dhyaya, that is Atma. Therefore, turning one's attention from the three to the basis of the three. That is Atma, that is what Nididhyasanam, contemplation, is all about. Okay. Then, in order not to think of anything else, you require dhriti, courage. Here it is wisdom, which is gained by buddhya dhriti, because buddhi is there. Therefore, buddhya dhriti gitaya, by you require dhriti, wisdom, which is gained by exposing the buddhi to the knowledge, buddhi to the teaching. Therefore, buddhya dhriti grihitaya. Only with the insight gained, with the help of knowledge alone, one can practice contemplation. Dhriti also means courage. Another meaning of dhriti already we said. Dhriti means courage. Because here contemplation is involved. A certain steadiness, a firmness, and commitment is required in order to understand that the knower, known, and the knowledge are one and the same. Given that our orientation has always been that they are separate. Our general orientation is they are separate. Therefore, it requires a dhriti, a steadiness, a firmness, a gain. So that meaning also can be taken. So what dhriti can mean courage, or dhriti can mean wisdom. So therefore, by being committed to this, so that the previous orientation, the previous orientation is everything is separate from the other. Everything is separate. So therefore, to knock off that notion that is not real. So therefore, some certain commitment is understanding is required. So therefore, dhriti is said here. Buddhya dhriti grihitaya. With the buddhi and with the courage, the buddhi which is endowed with the courage, the buddhi which is endowed with the steadiness, the firmness to understand this truth, as the orientation, the previous orientation, or the general orientation is that everything is separate. So therefore, to knock off the general orientation, that is ajnana. So therefore one requires steadiness, firmness, given that our orientation has always been they are separate. Orientation always they are separate, which it is samsara, it is ajnana. Dvaita buddhi, given that our orientation always separate means because we have dvaita buddhi, therefore we require courage to understand this advaita tattvam. That is the meaning of the word dhriti here. Courage is required to understand, appreciate the advaita tattvam, the fourth dhriti. Because dvaita is our anubhava, our experience. In spite of dvaitam, there is advaitam. So it requires the courage. Courage in terms of here in terms of knowledge. For knowledge, it is the commitment, the firmness, the adherence to the sadhana. That is what is meant by the word dhriti here. In other words, the dhriti also can mean insight. With the insight gained through shravanam, shastra shravanam. So may one practice nididhyasanam, atma samstha manakritva na kinchidapi chintayet. The appreciation of this fact, awareness of this fact. That is what is nididhyasanam is all about. Awareness of the fact that the three are not different. The basis of all the three is atma, that is myself. This is what atma samstha manakritva. It is important to note the meaning of this. Otherwise, this is wrongly understood as the mind is something which has to be placed on atma. Mind is not a tangible thing. It can be placed on atma like a book is placed on the table. So for this line has to be expanded, which Swamiji does so beautifully here. Then the next topic, seeing the fact removes the obstacles. Pratibandhas are removed by appreciating, by knowing this fact. Because the orientation that they are, one is against our experience. That's what I said. Our anubhava is dvaita anubhava. Our orientation is dvaitam, whereas the truth is advaitam. Therefore, because the orientation that they are one is against our experience, there will naturally be some obstruction in appreciating this fact in the form of doubts, etc. They are obstructing, pratibandhaha. So until it becomes clear, we can assume that there is some obstacle. So till that jnanam is called pratibandha jnanam. There are some obstacles in appreciating this fact. So therefore, until it becomes clear, it is that we can assume that there is some obstacle, which will be taken care of by seeing that fact. Understanding this, only that obstacle also will go away. Therefore, we do not worry about the obstacles. We simply keep on attempting to see, attempting to appreciate this fact with firmness, for which firmness, courage, and commitment are necessary. So it requires continuous exposure, therefore, commitment, and not giving up the sadhana, nididhyasanam, therefore, the courage is required. So courage, firmness, and commitment are required. To emphasize this point, Shankara Bhagavad says, Shanaihi, slowly. Nasagasa, not immediately. Success cannot be gained immediately. Because the orientation is so strong, this Dvaita Buddhi is so strong, it cannot go away immediately. Therefore, slowly. When he said Atma Samstha Manakritva, it doesn't mean that you immediately turn your mind to some object called Atma. Atma is not an object. If it is an object, we can turn our mind. So, not immediately. Atma is not something you put the mind into or on. Because the mind itself is Atma. So, therefore, there is no work, no action involved. There is no job to be done here. There is simply an understanding, appreciation. Appreciation is understanding. Therefore, a certain inner care is involved, wherein a contemplative atmosphere is created. In this atmosphere, this appreciation, this recognition takes place, for which no will whatsoever is involved. No will is involved. Slowly, during the period of time in which contemplation takes place, nididhyasanam, you take to Atma. You take to Atma means you appreciate the Atma. No will is required in contemplation. What will is required? Because knowledge is involved. Where knowledge is, there is no will. In meditation, will is only with reference to the antaranga sadhana, with reference to sitting, preparing the sadhana, and other preparations. Once these are taken care of, the will doesn't do anything. In fact, will is a problem. For this, will is the problem. And therefore, it has to be surrendered to the contemplation itself. In terms of anything to be accomplished by action, there one can apply the will. But here, knowledge is involved, pramanam is involved. Therefore, will is a problem. Therefore, surrender. Surrendered and Sharanam has been done. Therefore, Nididhyasanam here. Therefore, surrender to the contemplation. The contemplation takes over your will, so to speak. The will is suspended. When the will is suspended, the mind becomes relaxed. And there happens this understanding, the appreciation of this knowledge. Therefore, the contemplation takes over your will, so to speak. The mind becomes as though possessed. You as a person, the contemplator, as though are possessed by that contemplativeness. Therefore, that no will is required here. What will you do? What will do you require to appreciate something beautiful? So what will you require? None. The very will gets resolved in the appreciation of that which is beautiful, which is inspiring. You see it, you appreciate it. What will is required? Because pramanam is involved. You open your eyes, you see the beautiful flower. So no will is involved. Knowledge takes place, and therefore you appreciate the flower. What will is there when you have a love for something? Whatever will there is, just resolves. Similarly, in contemplation also, in Nididhyasanam also, you don't push your will in order to gain Atma. In the beginning, it is required as a preparatory sadhana. The will is required whenever the mind goes away from the object of thought in the beginning. But once the steadiness happens, then the will is suspended. The will surrenders to Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam takes over the will. You don't grind your teeth, roll up your sleeves, sit in a seat of meditation and say, I'm going to get that Atma. There is no such thing. It is not like wanting to do something against something that the world has to offer. There is no doing involved, there is no gaining involved. It is gaining the gain, praptasya praptihi, vittasya vittihi, therefore. Gaining the gain. That is only by knowing the known, but not completely known, that is by knowledge. If you want to do a particular job, for example, you can assert your will and get it done. So action is involved. Where action is involved, there will is there. But you cannot sit down and crush your eyelids together tightly and say that you're going to get the Atma. There is no such thing. All that you will get is a headache if you do so. Therefore, a person who tries to gain Atma by using his or her free will not gain Atma, because Atma is not to be gained, it is you. The person is Atma, the meditator is Atma. And the meditator also is Atma. And the meditation, the action, that is Atma. Therefore, first one creates contemplativeness. There only the will is involved. Contemplativeness is created, which is taken care of by one's exposure to the teaching. You must know that what you are aiming at. Conveyed here by Atma Samstamana Krutana Kinchidapi Chintayet. Let the appreciation of Atma takes place in your mind. Either by contemplating on the non-separation, the non-difference, the oneness of knower, known knowledge, and Tripati, or by taking a particular expression such as, that is the Atma which is defined in the Shastram as Satyaha, Satya Swarupaha, Swarupoham, Avyayaha, Atma, Nityaha, Iti. So taking the expression and meditating on that. That is the Swarupa of Atma. Sat Chit Ananda Atma. What is Sat? Sat which is not subject to time. Trikale Tishtati. That which is not subject to change. Sat. Chit, consciousness, Chaitanya. Sadaspurati. That which is the witness consciousness of all the three states. And that cannot be witnessed. It is Nityaha. Doesn't arise at some point or go or goes away, disappears. It is always. So all this, the Swarupa of Atma, which are for which there are expressions in the Shastram, the words of the Shastram, Avyayaha, Aham Atma, Avyayaha, Nityaha, Shuddhaha, Muktaha, iti. I am the truth of everything and meditating upon it. This is Nididhyasa. This is a contemplation that is in keeping with the teaching. Without this, the meditation is not possible. Who am I inquiry is not possible. That is why Shastra Shravanam. Only by knowing what Atma is, one can meditate upon Atma. Otherwise, how can one meditate upon I without knowing what the nature of I is? The nature of I is known and it is meditated upon. Again, the meditation doesn't produce something new. It is only to remove the obstacles. The Shravanam itself produces the knowledge that the truth of I am is Atma. I am is Chaitanya Atma. And the obstructions to it are removed by Mananam and Nididhyasana. So without Shastram, self-inquiry cannot be done. So Shastra Shravanam is Atma Vichara. So Atma Vichara followed by Mananam. Mananam is again repeated study of Shastram, or Mananam is resolving the doubts by thinking of the teachings, the Shastram. And contemplation is this, that is appreciation of this fact, which happens when the meditator sits calmly, quietly in a posture which is comfortable, in a place where there are no obstacles, making the mind Atmasatta Manakrutva, as Bhagavan said. That is what Nididhyasana is. Nothing, no new knowledge is created here. Important. Samadhi, this absorption, this is what Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam leads to absorption. This Samadhi doesn't produce any new knowledge. Nididhyasanam do not produce any new knowledge. For us, Samadhi is Nididhyasanam. Rather, your mind is brought to focus on what is already understood. Again and again, mind is brought. In the beginning, the will is involved. Once it is focused, then the will is dropped. The mind is absorbed in Atma. That is called absorption, Samadhi. There is no knower, known, and the knowledge. Tripati Beda is gone. So all the three are resolved. The person and the Atma alone is. So that is what is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So what is already understood? It is understood. It is. So it is not that it is understood in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. There are obstacles to understanding, appreciation that is removed in the Nididhyasana. So no new knowledge is created. Knowledge takes place only in the Shravanam. This then is the meaning of the expression Atma Samstamana Kratana Kinchitapi Chintayet. Having said this, Bhagavan adds a little more. Next shloka. Yato Nischarati. Yato Nischarati. I think that shloka. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow. We'll stop here. Om Purnamadav Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Dhanyavadah